Maraming salamat, Sir James. Ngayon naman ang ating tunghayan ang ika-4 na teacher reviewer. She earned 36 units at Rizal Technological University, a master teacher in charge of grade 4, master teacher 1 ng Isaac Lopez Integrated School, 22 years as math teacher, MTAP trainer, AMSLI trainer. Please welcome Ma'am Girlie D. Bartolome.
Good day, MANDunong kids! Welcome to Project SOAR, series of online academic reviews for CLAID Learning Modules. Once again, I am Teacher Girlie, and join me in our advanced lesson of Quarter 2, Week 6. Handa na ba kayo? Tara! Tayo ng Math-aral, tayo ng Math-tuto. Today, we are going to study addition and subtraction of similar and dissimilar fractions. Let us know our goal for this lesson. First, perform addition and subtraction of similar and dissimilar fractions. Next, solve routine and non-routine problems involving addition and or subtraction of fractions using appropriate problem-solving strategies and tools. What can you say about these fractions? 1/7, 3/7, 5/7. That's correct. They are similar fractions. Similar fractions are fractions with the same denominators. How about these fractions? 1/9, 3/5, 2/3. That's right, they are dissimilar fractions. Dissimilar fractions are fractions with different denominators. Another lesson that we need to review is simplifying or reducing fractions. Let us have an example. 5/10. We need to find the factors of 5 and 10. Factors of 5 are 1 and 5. Factors of 10 are 1, 2, 5, and 10. We are going to get the GCF of 5 and 10, which is 5. Now, we're going to divide the GCF by the numerator and denominator. So 5 divided by 5 equals 1. 10 divided by 5 equals 2. A fraction is said to be in its simplest form if 1 is the only common factor of each numerator and denominator. And also, if the numerator is 1, the fraction is in lowest term. Next is finding the least common denominator or LCD. Example, 2/5 and 1/3. First, we're going to find the multiples of 5 and 3. What is a multiple? Multiple is a number you get when you multiply a number by a whole number greater than 0. What are the multiples of 5? Multiples of 5 are 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Multiples of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and so on. So the least common multiples of 5 and 3 is 15. At the same time, the least common denominator of 2/5 and 1/3 is 15. Another review is changing improper fraction to mixed number. Example, 17/5. First, divide the numerator by denominator. So we have 17 divided by 5 equals 3. 3 times 5, we have 15. 17 minus 15 equals 2. Now, the whole number is the quotient, the remainder is the numerator, and the divisor is the denominator. So the mixed form of 17/5 is 3 2/5. Now, you learned how to change improper fractions to mixed number. We are going to change mixed number to improper fractions. Example, 3 and 2/5. First, multiply the denominator by the whole number. So we have 5 times 3 equals 15. Next, add the product to the numerator. So 15 plus 2 equals 17. Then, copy the denominator, 5. So the improper fraction of 3 and 2/5 is 17/5. After the prerequisite skills that you learned, we are going to study addition of fractions. Adding similar fractions. Example, find the sum of 2/5 and 1/5. First, we're going to visualize the two fractions. So we have 2/5 plus 1/5. Now, we're going to add the numerators. 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. Then, copy the common denominator, which is 5. After that, simplify the answer when needed. 3/5 is in lowest term because they are relatively prime. Another example, what is the sum of 7/9 plus 4/9? First, add the numerators. 7 plus 4 equals 11. Then, copy the common denominator, 9. After that, simplify the answer if needed. Since the answer is an improper fraction, we are going to change to a mixed number. We are going to divide 11 divided by 9 equals 1. 1 times 9 equals 9. 11 minus 9 equals 2. Then, the quotient is the whole number. The remainder is the numerator. And the divisor is the dividend. So the answer is 1 and 2/9. Now you know how to add similar fractions. Let us add dissimilar fractions. Example, 1/5 plus 2/3. We're going to visualize the two fractions. Since the fractions are dissimilar fractions, we're going to make them equivalent fractions. We're going to divide 1/5 into 3 parts. So we have 1/5 is also equal to 3/15. And also 2/3, we're going to divide into 5 parts. We have 10/15. Then add the numerators. 3 plus 10 equals 13. And copy the common denominator, 15. So the answer is 13/15. Let us have another example. Find the sum of 3/5 plus 1/2. First, find the least common denominator of 5 and 2. By listing their multiples, we have the following. The LCM of 5 and 2 is 10. At the same time, the least common denominator. Next, make equivalent fractions. Then, divide 10 divided by 5 equals 2 times 3 equals 6. 10 divided by 2 equals 5 times 1 equals 5. Next, add the numerators. 6 plus 5 equals 11. Copy the common denominator. Since the answer is an improper fraction, we are going to simplify the answer. So we're going to change 11/10 to a mixed number. We're going to divide 11 divided by 10. We have 1, and 1 times 10 equals 10. 11 minus 10 is 1. So the answer is 1 and 1/10. Let us apply what have you learned. Find the sum. Write the answer in simplest form if possible. Number 1, 3/10 plus 7/10. A, 1/2. B, 10/20. C. 21 over 20. D. 1. And the correct answer is letter D, 1. Solution, 3 over 10 plus 7 over 10. First, add the numerators. 3 plus 7 equals 10. Copy the common denominator. We have 10. Since the fraction is an improper fraction, we need to change it to a mixed number or whole number. 10 divided by 10 equals 1. 1 times 10 is 10. 10 minus 10 is equal to 0. So the answer is 1. Question number 2. 4 over 5 plus 1/2. A. 5 over 7. B. 4 over 10. C. 1 and 3/10. D. 1 and 7/10. If your answer is letter C, you are correct. 1 and 3 over 10. Solution. First, we're going to find the least common denominator of 5 and 2. The LCD is 10. Then, 10 divided by 5 equals 2 times 4 equals 8. 10 divided by 2 equals 5 times 1 equals 5. Then add the numerators. 8 plus 5 equals 13. Copy the common denominator. Since the answer is an improper fraction, change to a mixed number. 13 divided by 10 equals 1. 1 times 10 equals 10. 13 minus 10 equals 3. So the answer is 1 and 3/10. Question number 3. 3 and 3/8 plus 1 and 5/8. A. 4 and 3 over 8. B. 4 and 5 over 8. C. 5. D. 5 and 3 over 8. If your answer is letter C, you are correct. 5. Solution. First, we're going to add the whole number. 3 plus 1 equals 4. Next, add the numerators. 3 plus 5 equals 8. And copy the common denominator, 8. Now, we're going to rename 8 over 8 as 1 whole. Then, we're going to add 4 plus 1 equals 5. Question number 4. 7 and 5 over 6 plus 1 and 3 over 5. A. 7 and 8 over 11. B. 9 and 13 over 30. C. 9 and 19 over 30. D. 10 and 17 over 30. And the answer is letter B. 9 and 13 over 30. Solution. First, we're going to find the least common denominator of 6 and 5. The least common denominator is 30. Then, 30 divided by 6 equals 5 times 5 equals 25. Next, 30 divided by 5 equals 6 times 3 equals 18. Next, add the whole number. 7 plus 1 equals 8. Then, add the numerators. 25 plus 18 equals 43. Then, copy the common denominator, 30. Since the answer is an improper fraction, 43 over 30, we're going to rename at improper fraction. So, we have 43 divided by 30 is 1. 1 times 30 equals 30. 43 minus 30 is 13. Then, we're going to add 1 and 13 over 30 to 8. The answer is 9 and 13 over 30. And for the last question, find the sum of 3 over 5 and 2 over 15. A. 11 over 15, B. 5 over 20, C. 6 over 25, D. 15 over 30. The correct answer is letter A, 11 over 15. Solution. First, find the least common denominator of 5 and 15. So 15 is the LCD. 15 divided by 5 equals 3 times 3 equals 9. 15 divided by 15 is 1 times 2 equals 2. Then add the numerators. 9 plus 2 equals 11 and copy the common denominator 15. So the answer is 11 over 15. Our next lesson is subtraction of fractions. Subtracting similar fractions. Example, find the difference of 7 over 12 and 5 over 12. So we have 7 over 12 minus 5 over 12. We have 2 over 12. Now, to subtract similar fractions, we're going to subtract the numerators. 7 minus 5 equals 2. Then, copy their common denominator, 12. After that, simplify the answer if needed. Since the fractions have a common factor of 2, we're going to divide 2 divided by 2 equals 1. 12 divided by 2 equals 6. So the answer is 1 over 6. Another example, 1 and 3 over 8 minus 5 over 8. First, subtract the numerators. 3 minus 5, but 3 is smaller than 5, so we're going to rename one whole as 8 over 8. So we have 8 over 8 plus 3 over 8. Next, add 8 plus 3 equals 11 and copy the common denominator. Then, subtract 5 over 8. We have 11 minus 5 equals 6. Then, copy the common denominator, 8. Then, we're going to simplify the answer if needed. So, we're going to divide 6 and 8 by their greatest common factor, which is 2. 6 divided by 2 equals 3. 8 divided by 2 equals 4. So the answer is 3/4. Subtracting dissimilar fractions. Example, what is 3/5 decreased by 1/2? Since the two fractions are dissimilar fractions, we need to make them equivalent fractions. By dividing 3/5 into two parts, we have 6 over 10. Then, we're going to divide 1/2 into 5 equal parts. We have 5 over 10. Now, they are similar fractions. We're going to subtract the numerators. 6 minus 5 equals 1 and copy the common denominator, 10. Then, simplify the answer when needed. Since the numerator of the fraction is 1, 1/10 is already in simplest form or lowest term. Let us have another example. 4 and 5 over 7 minus 1 and 3/5. First, find the least common denominators of 7 and 5. We're going to list the multiples of 7 and 5. We have 35 as the least common denominator or the LCM. Then, we're going to make equivalent fractions. 35 divided by 7 equals 5 times 5 equals 25. 35 divided by 5 equals 7 times 3, we have 21. Then, subtract the whole numbers. 4 minus 1 equals 3. Subtract the numerators. 25 minus 21, we have 4. And copy the common denominator, 35. So the final answer is 3 and 4 over 35. Let's do it. Find the difference. Write the answer in simplest form if possible. Number 1, 5 over 6 minus 2 over 3. A, 1/3. B, 1/6. C, 7 over 9. D, 12 over 15. If your answer is letter B, you are correct. 1/6. Solution. First, we're going to find the least common denominator of 6 and 3. So the LCD is 6, then make equivalent fractions. So 6 divided by 6 is 1 times 5 equals 5. 6 divided by 3, we have 2 times 2 equals 4. Then subtract the numerators. 5 minus 4 equals 1. Then copy the common denominator, 6. 1/6 is in lowest term because the numerator is already 1. Question number 2. 11 over 15 minus 6 over 15. A, 1/2. B, 1/3. C, 2/3. D, 5 over 30. If your answer is letter B, you are correct. 1/3. Solution. First, subtract the numerators. 11 minus 6 equals 5 and copy the common denominator. Then, simplify the answer if needed. So the final answer is 1 over 3. Number 3, 4 and 4 over 9 minus 8 over 9. A, 3 and 2/3. B, 3 and 5/9. C, 4 and 7/9. D, 4 and 8/9. If your answer is letter B, you are correct. 3 and 5 over 9. For our solution, subtract the numerators. 4 minus 8 this cannot be, so we're going to get 1 whole from 4 and rename the 1 whole as 9 over 9. So we have 3 and 9 over 9. Then we're going to add 4 over 9 to 9 over 9. So 9 plus 4 equals 13 and copy the denominator, 9. Then we're going to subtract 8 over 9. So we have 13 minus 8 equals 5 and copy the common denominator, 9. Then we have the whole number 3. The answer is 3 and 5 over 9. And for the last question, what is the difference of 2 and 4 over 5 and 1 and 2 over 5? A, 3 and 1 over 5. B, 3 and 5 over 6. C, 2 and 2 over 5. D, 1 and 2 over 5. And the answer is letter D, 1 and 2/5. For our solution, first, we're going to subtract the whole number. 2 minus 1 equals 1. Subtract the numerators. 4 minus 2 equals 2. Then copy the denominator or common denominator, 5. So the final answer is 1 and 2 over 5. Wrap up. To add or subtract similar fractions, first, add or subtract the numerators. Second, copy the common denominator. Then, simplify the answer if needed. Next, to add or subtract the similar fractions, first is to find the least common denominator. Next, make equivalent fractions. Then, add or subtract the numerators. Copy the common denominator. And lastly, simplify the answer if needed. For our last lesson, solving routine and non-routine problems involving addition and or subtraction of fractions using appropriate problem-solving strategies and tools. In solving problems, you have to remember the following. For addition, phrases or words used in addition of numbers are sum, total, in all, plus, altogether, combined, more, added to, and more than. For subtraction, phrases or words like the difference of, subtracted to, subtracted from, reduced by, diminished by, take away, fewer than, decrease, less than, change, left, and more. Let us study this problem. Micaela sells cassava cake in their store. She sold 1/3 of it in the morning, 1/4 during lunch, and 2/6 in the afternoon. How much did she sell for the day? First, we're going to understand by analyzing what is asked in the problem. Let's write the number of sold cassava. Then, what are the given facts? There are 3 given facts. 1/3 in the morning, 1/4 during lunch, and 2/6 in the afternoon. After we have understood the problem, we need to plan. We are going to plan what operations shall we use to solve the problem. We are going to use addition because of the word how much. Next, what is the number sentence? 1/3 plus 1/4 plus 2/6 is equal to n. After we have planned what operation to be used and the number sentence, we are going to solve the problem. We can use the bar model to solve this problem. So, Micaela sold 1/3 in the morning, 1/4 during lunch, and 2/6 in the afternoon. Now, since the fractions are dissimilar fractions, we need to make them equivalent fractions. So, 1/3 is also equivalent to 4/12. 1/4 is equal to 3/12, and 2/6 is the same as 4/12. Now, since they are similar fractions, we can now add the numerators. 4 plus 3 plus 4 is equal to 11, and copy the common denominator 12. So the answer is 11/12. Micaela sold 11 cassava cake. Let us have another problem. Lance biked 7/8 km. Lorraine biked 3/4 km. Who covered the longer distance? How much longer? First, we're going to understand the problem by analyzing what is asked in the problem. Yes, who covered the longer distance? How much longer? Then, what are the given facts? The given facts are 7/8 km and 3/4 km. After we have understood the problem, we are going to plan. What operation shall we use to solve the problem? That's correct. We are going to use subtraction because of the word how much longer. What is the number sentence? The number sentence is 7/8 minus 3/4 equals n. After we have planned for the operation to be used and number sentence, we are now ready to solve the problem. We can use the bar model to solve the problem. Here, the distance covered by Lance is 7/8 km, and the distance covered by Lorraine is 3/4 km, also equivalent to 6 over 8 kilometer. Then we have 1/8 left. Lance covered 1/8 kilometer longer than Lorraine. Another method that we can use is the LCD method. 7 over 8 minus 3 over 4. First, find the least common denominator of 8 and 4. By listing the multiples of 8 and 4, we have 8 as the least common multiples at the same time the least common denominator. Next, make equivalent fractions. 8 divided by 8 equals 1 times 7 equals 7. 8 divided by 4 equals 2 times 3 equals 6. Next, subtract the numerators. 7 minus 6 equals 1 and copy the common denominator 8. Then, simplify the answer if needed. 1 over 8 is in simplest form because the numerator is already 1. The last step in solving problem is check and look back. We're going to check if our answer is correct by adding the distance covered by Lorraine and the answer 1/8. First, we're going to find the least common denominator of 8 and 4. So here are the multiples of 8 and 4. So the LCM or LCD is 8. Next, make equivalent fractions. So 8 divided by 8 equals 1 times 1 is equal to 1. Next, 8 divided by 4, we have 2 times 3 equals 6. Then, add the numerators. 1 plus 6 equals 7. Then copy the denominator, 8. Then simplify the answer if needed. 7 over 8 is in simplest form or lowest term. So, our answer is correct because the distance covered by Lance is 7 over 8. That's all for today, children. I hope that you have learned from our advanced lesson. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much, teacher reviewers, Batang MANDunong.
To all viewers, please do not forget to subscribe, like, follow our FB official page and our YouTube MTM channel.
Laging tandaan,
Batang MANDunong, walang maiiwan, kabahagi ng bilang.
Hashtag
Greater ILIS, better your best.